I personally don't really play sports or follow sports, but this year's Olympic 2024 was a lot of talk, a lot of I would say disagreement, but it has nothing to do with sports. Can you believe it?
Oh, you're talking about the opening ceremony?
Exactly. That's right. Okay, so I'm gonna.
You're right. They're surprising. That has been the most contentious thing I've seen about the Olympics or heard about the Olympics so far. First, they were going about the rainstorm at the beginning of the Olympics, but it's that opening ceremony, and then outside of that, most people I've seen have really been enjoying the Olympic competition and their country competing. And,
right.
Then there's the people going for bragging rights about,
Okay, so I'm going to share another screen.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, let's let this play. Let's let this play a little bit, and we talk, because once we talk, it cuts out the music. So let it play for a little bit. It's good. Okay. Okay, so people are comparing. There's one I seen comparing 20 years ago, 2004, and this one is 10 years ago. And as you can see the difference, and the talk out there is about drag queens / trans. People are mistaking the drag queen, drag show, entertainment as trans people. Again, trans and drag is not the same. Mostly the drag performers are identify themselves as gay. Of course, there's trans, but majority are identified gay, and they perform as an entertainment. They don't drag, dressed in opposite sex, day-to-day life. They only do that on stage. So people are saying the drag show in the opening is mocking the Christians. You heard of that?
No, I haven't. You're saying it's mocking Christianity? Anything you can think of to be the victim.
Yeah, they were saying it's like the Last Supper. It kind of looked like the Last Supper, especially when they open.
Oh, because they're sitting in a line. Yeah. Like I said, anything you can think of to make yourself the victim, because victimhood is awesome. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, okay. Well, it's to me, it's kind of like, I don't know what they're thinking. I keep hearing the click, click, click. Are you clicking something? Click, click.
My
click,
screen
click.
keeps going back to that YouTube page.
Oh, anyways, so okay. So what I'm trying to say is, seems like I don't know why they decide to do this as an opening, since there's a lot of controversial talk already over this LGBTQ community, and seems like there's a post on TikTok, on Twitter, which X, that I share, which also shows. Can you see?
It's loading up.
Okay, loading up. Let me know when you can see it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've seen this image, and I saw part of this video and the image, and I see what when you say that they're saying it's mocking the Last Supper. I see. Like I said, anything you can claim to be the victim and make people have sympathy for you and your cause and your point of view, or then there's those people that just want to see the world burn. So there's that too. But I mean, you're talking about an event where there was where they were. There's not a whole lot of room to put up another kind of setup because there's also people and stuff that's got to get through had to get through that area. It's just a super reach just to make a point. It made it look like the Last Supper because they're all dressed up in drag. Like any more weak-minded.
Yeah, I don't know why I never have luck of sharing my screen. Anyways, I prepare a lot to share
from your page.
Yeah, it was all queued up, and then when I try to share, it doesn't go there. So strange. Anyways, that's why people
Yeah,
has a how do you say it? Has a like a engineer on the side. Because
yeah.
we can't play. Okay, now I queued it. Oh
Okay.
crap. Okay, I got it now. So let me reshare again. Okay. Okay, I just randomly. Let me know when it's showing. Does it show?
Okay, I see the post now.
Okay.
And this is from Twitter.
Yes, from X. So this is the random post that I saw. I don't follow this lady. I don't know who she is, but I agree to what she wrote here. Dear fellow Gates, so she kind of know this is a performer. This is just gay. It's not trans. Somehow she knows. And it says, we demand tolerance and respect, but then make a mockery of something scare for over 2 billion Christians. So what she's trying to say is, like, why we know someone will have pain, and we purposely kind of poke that wound. You know what I mean? Poke the wound and make it more painful for everybody.
Yeah,
So,
I don't see anything where they're trying. I don't even see where they were even trying to reenact the Last Supper or any of that. I mean, I can see if they had been trying to reenact the Last Supper, or portraying any of those characters. I can see you going there and be like, "Oh, this is outrageous," but they weren't. They were set up in an area where that was the only kind of table they had. The table is this way because the venue set it up that way. They're all spaced out like this because the venue put them there.
yeah.
So I don't understand how you're going to sit there and say it's a mockery of the Last Supper. Like, really, go take your victim game and go somewhere else. That's so weak-minded.
So for me, I agree with her, even though, I'm myself in LGBTQ community, but then, I do understand that people are like you say, very sensitive, very offensive,
Everybody's so sensitive, especially nowadays.
sensitive. Yes. So, but I look at it different, more in a politic way. Because I know it's an Olympic, it's a sport, but somehow this has a politic agenda in it. Because from my point of view, because I feel like just like California, they passed out gender law. It's not necessary for them to get involved, but they did. And then this one, it seems like they keep bringing up LGBTQ community people to make the divide people up. People, of course, there's supporter, and then there's people who's non-supported. But at the end of the day, LGBTQ community or people are still very, very considered smallest minority, right? Percentage in this country. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is this the politician, the elites, they use LGBTQ people are not really trying to help them because they're not gonna use all this energy to help a very small group of people. They just weaponize these group of people to divide this country, divide this,
Yeah, yeah. So using the LGBT community is, I hate to say it because it sounds terrible, especially when I say it, it sounds terrible. But it's easy because
Yeah.
there's so much, there's so much division in the community already to begin with, because there's so many different facets to the LGBT community. They were all just lumped together as yeah, all you guys just go over there and sit at that table. And they're not really addressed individually as human beings, which they should be, but they're not. And this was, some little Frenchman's idea of being progressive and supportive. And, he's like, oh, well, drag queens are all happy and, they're party like and they'll be festive. We want a festive environment, a festive mindset. Because they are all dressed up, ready to party and, act a part and have a great time. And who they put up front, they put a guy, they pick the typical, especially with the politicians and the people who really are taking advantage of the LGBT community. And I don't know why the community doesn't understand this one thing. Who they always pick the one person that wants to get in front of the camera the most. And it's always a fat white guy with a beard and a dress and the makeup, or as close as possible to that as you can get. And it's like, wow. And I mean, to me, it's like it's right up there with Hollywood always trying to put a leading black actor in a dress in one movie or another.
So I'm sure you can relate. I mean, I'm considered minority in this country too. So I'm sure we can both relate that it seems like you just said they like to use the smaller group of people and then enlarge them and then use them as a, weaponize or have an agenda. They're not really
The
gonna.
more you see them, the more you see videos of them, the more you see people talk about them, you think that community is larger than it really is. It's like it's like the way they talk about, it's like the way they talk that America likes to talk about African Americans. Talking about them so much like African Americans are just effing everywhere. It's like we're not even a quarter of the population, less than a quarter of the population. What you talk about is like we're everywhere. Like every shadow you see, this black person will jump out. Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's what I meant. They are playing this old plot, but just different characters over and over again. Yes.
And everybody falls for it. We used to, back in the day, when you and I were young, it used to be called the okie doke. You watching this hand, then I start doing like this, you watching this hand, and I pop you in the face because you stopped watching the hand that was going to hit you.